Hello viewers, welcome to the show. On today's episode, we shall be discussing the Chinese involvement in Africa and to see if the involvement of the Chinese in Africa has really benefited the Africans or has it only benefited the Chinese. So without wasting too much time, let's get right on to it. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
So how are you today?
I'm okay.
Okay, nice. And said, before we start, I was just going to ask you if you've come across any Chinese in your home country.
Yes, I have. When I was in Ghana, I came across a lot of them, and reports also say so. There are still a lot of them there.
Over the years, we've seen the Chinese involvement in Africa, and I would like to ask, is that the case in Ghana? Has there been many Chinese moving to Ghana?
Yeah, there are a lot of Chinese moving to Ghana because of the minerals in Ghana, the natural resources. So there are a lot of them in the mining sites.
Yeah. So, which sector are they involved? Like, what minerals are they mining?
Bauxite and gold.
Bauxite and gold. In terms of infrastructures, are there some buildings or some roads that were constructed by the Chinese or that are still being constructed by the Chinese?
Yes, there are. The reason being that there are not sophisticated equipment in Ghana. So when this government bring up a project, especially talking about this kind of modernized bridges and railways, there are not equipment which Ghanaians can build themselves to get it across all these roads and the railways. So what they do is, these Chinese people have got all those equipment. So they give the contract to the Chinese to do that. And the most annoying part is, when they are coming, they come along with their people.
Yeah.
They don't employ the citizens of Ghana.
Yeah.
Then they come along with the people. Then I was thinking that when this contract are even given to the Chinese, the reason behind would be like it would decrease unemployment in Ghana.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I was thinking the government had to employ the citizens than allowing the Chinese to come along with their nationals as employees to the contract, which is really, really annoying.
So in terms of the quality of the structures, it might be a road or a building, how good is it?
The quality of the Chinese infrastructures are very low, comparing to the one the British did since our previous president, the late Kwame Nkrumah, did with the British. It's still in place until now. But then there were some bridges which were built at Circle, Accra, in the middle of the capital. And when it rained, all the places were flooded. The bridge was made mainly to harbor this flood, so that it don't get to the houses of people. Yeah, but then it didn't work. It just worked for about 2-3 months. And when we had very heavy rains, it destroyed everything. So the Chinese infrastructures are just short term.
So don't you think that the low quality of these Chinese built products are due to the fact that the contracts are being awarded to the Chinese at a very low cost?
Yeah, I think that will also be a factor. But then, when it comes to this type of deals, infrastructures, it's about who you know. It might be a business plan between them, which they know each other. Because the government cannot just call on Chinese people to get this infrastructure done. It will pass through some people. There are some protocols who will lead to these infrastructures, and they will get it done. So I think that's the main reason, because the president have to assign people. The president cannot do that all by himself.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are people who are in the middle of that. Those are the main problem, because when the funds are given to a road sector minister to get the roads done, he's the one who have to see to the quality of the bridges done, not the president.
Exactly.
Because the president have a lot to do.
Yeah.
And because of their own pockets, they need to get a Chinese person who can do this, so they can also fund their pocket a little bit. And that is the main problem.
So, when these projects are completed by the Chinese, do the ministers who are involved go to see if the projects are up to the satisfaction of the Ghanaians, or if they meet up with the standard?
You know, they even go to the sort of commissioning, you know, the commission for the citizens to know. No, they politicize everything. So they will just commission everything for the citizens to know that it has been done.
Yeah.
And the president will also know that, oh, it has been done, so it has been commissioned. But then with the main mind behind the thing is about politics.
Yeah, yeah.
The main thing is not to benefit the citizen or something, but it's about politics for the citizens to know, oh, this government did this. That's why they are in a haste to get the Chinese people to do it than to get someone that, like the Westerners who does things more quality.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so because of this politics, that's why nothing good is done.
Yeah. In terms of the Chinese bringing in their own labor, right? Because I've also seen a case in Cameroon whereby the Chinese were awarded a contract, and all of a sudden we saw them bringing in a lot of Chinese laborers to do this, to carry out this job, whereby there's a lot of people in Cameroon without jobs. So this has always been a problem in Cameroon. But as of now, the government of Cameroon has tried to renegotiate with the Chinese in order for them to bring just the skilled laborers, but the unskilled they can get from Cameroon. So I want to ask, is that the case in Ghana? Like, do they bring in just the skilled labor and then the unskilled laborers they can get from Ghana?
Most of the time, it's not the same in Ghana, I think. They just have few Ghanaians. Even these few Ghanaians are people the Chinese know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when they are coming in, they come in with everything, with their employers and employees, with associate, co-associate from everything. So they handle everything, but it's about these links. So maybe they know some Ghanaians, just little Ghanaians who can help them, who can assist them. You know, they just employ just a few of them, whether skilled or unskilled, just because they know them.
Exactly. Yeah. Things like this get me really, really angry and disappointed with our government back home, you know. Like in China, like if there's a manager in charge of a particular sector, there has to be a Chinese who assists that person. Okay, like they have to be a manager in charge of production, and the assistant manager in charge of production has to be a Chinese. But in the case of Africa, it's not like that. So is it because our leaders are really weak, or they don't have us, the Africans, our interests at heart?
Yeah, that is very true. An example is even in Thailand. There are rules that makes the citizen so special.
Exactly.
That when you come into work and the citizen is not involved, you are out of the work. So these are measures the leaders should put in place. So before the Chinese are coming in, they know these people are so lenient on us. We can just come in and do something. And the main reason be like our leaders go begging.
Exactly. All the time.
Yeah, go begging for help. So you are already indebted, and there always this proverb which says you cannot bite the finger that fits you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the leaders already know, oh, we owe these people a lot of money. We have to allow them to do whatever they are doing. That's why they come in, they do whatever they want, they bring their own people and you cannot talk. What
Can't
can
say
you do?
anything.
Yes, because you owe them billions of cedis that you can never pay till you are even out of the presidency for another person to come for generations. So this is the main reason why we are facing this crisis in Africa between the Chinese and the normal African.
You know, there was an incident that happened in, I think, in the eastern part of Cameroon where we have something like gold mining.
Yeah.
The piece of land, according to what the Chinese were saying, has been awarded to them to mine, right? But there was a kind of disagreement between the locals of the area and the Chinese miners. But this cannot happen in China.
Never.
It will never happen. So I
Never.
was like, how long do we Africans have to be fools, have to be like toys to other people?
So this is the main problem. We have to think. Just imagine they will be borrowing you all this huge sum, and they just need something like gold. Why do they need the gold? We have the gold.
Yeah.
And they are borrowing us money for our gold. So what were we using the gold for? This is what I keep asking myself. These people are borrowing huge sums for gold, but we have the gold.
Exactly.
So what did you use our gold for? And why are they still borrowing money and coming in for the gold? For what reason? That means there is something our leaders are not doing right. And the Chinese people know that these leaders are corrupt.
Yeah, yeah.
They know it.
Yeah.
So they just huge sum and come in for the gold. For what reason? Why? The gold has been there, given to us by God. It has been there all this while, which is natural. So why haven't we made good use of the gold? And these people are still coming in, borrowing us money and coming for that same gold. The reason being what? This is what I keep asking myself, and I can never even help it.
It's really terrible.
Yeah,
it's really terrible.
Very, very terrible. We have access to all these minerals. And not even only the Chinese. The Americans are coming in for it. The English
are coming in.
Europeans, they are coming in for the same thing. And when they come in for it, they go to their country, they build good things for their citizens.
Exactly.
And we are the owners of the thing, and we cannot do anything.
We are left with nothing.
What is wrong with us? So I don't blame the Chinese a lot. I blame our leaders. Because when you have something good and you don't know how to use it, someone else will show you how to use it. That is what they are doing.
So let's move on. A couple of years ago, there was an incident in Ghana about Chinese miners and local Ghanaians. Like, what was it all about?
Good. This is what happened. The current sitting president, which is Nana Akufo-Addo, placed a ban on small-scale mining. In quote, illegal small-scale mining.
Yeah.
Right. We call it galamsey in Ghana. If you mention galamsey, everybody knows it's illegal. Yeah. So he did that because our water bodies are being polluted. By this illegal small-scale mining, because most of the time they mine close to the river, and these are the source of good drinking water for the normal citizen, right? Because when they dug the gold, they have to get those water to wash them.
Exactly.
And so they just dug it near the river so that they can easily wash it. And these are the Chinese who are doing this, destroying the water bodies for we the Ghanaians to drink them. So the president was like, no, I've put in a ban on it. No illegal mining. So when you are found illegally doing that, you have to be arrested and prosecuted. And the Chinese were still doing it. So now the president sent an anti-galamsey corps, that's what we call them. So these cops have been going to the mining site, to arrest these illegal miners. And then what happened was they were arresting the citizens and they left the Chinese people.
Boy, it's always like that in Africa.
And the citizens were like, what is happening?
It's always like that.
So now what happened was when they go to the site and they see the Chinese people bribe them
Exactly.
with huge sums, then they will leave them. Then the president got to know that this is what is happening. Now he sent another anti-Galamsey course. Now he added the army, the soldiers to it. Now they arrested the Chinese. A lot of people apprehended and prosecuted them. And this became a whole lot. So some people were saying, oh, these Chinese people are helping us. They've loaned us some money. And what are you doing? You have to leave them. There are people also living in China. If we do that, they will also maltreat the Ghanaians in China. So this was basically the problem. But the president said, no, I'm protecting these water bodies for the future generation. I'm not thinking about now. I'm thinking about the future.
Yeah.
So no matter what, when you are caught, even a citizen or a Chinese, you'll be apprehended and prosecuted. The law will deal with you. So the problem is until now.